Hey, welcome to Highlands this weekend. My name is James. If we haven't met before, hello. I'm the online director and our messaging director here, and I want to welcome all of our campuses, all of our physical campuses, as well as all of you watching online who are smart and not going to get sick today. Good job. Hey, we do have an online campus, just in case you're wondering, so if the flu or some sort of coronavirus takes over your upper respiratory, you can still watch. You can engage, you can give. It's amazing if you've never tried it. live.hf.church. Hey, I'm on the stage. Shameless plug, right? Hey, we're in a series called Better Together. It's been really good. Pastor Robbie and his wife Brittany started us off. Great conversation about marriage, about your spouse, about building that close relationship. Pastor Allen and Pastor Steve kind of did a back-to-back message talking about friendship and what it means to be a true friend. I don't know about you, but that message from Pastor Steve last week was really convicting when I consider the question, am I being a true friend to those around me? And so it was really a good message. I hope that you were encouraged by these things. And I'm encouraged by that graphic that makes me want to eat a peanut butter and jelly sandwich right about now. If anyone has one, you can bring it up on stage at any time. We will share. So today we're going to talk about circles, right? And we're going to explain a little about what that means about doing life together. It's going to be fun. But before we do that, I want to share just a verse with you. I was praying and preparing this week and found this verse in Ephesians and just thought it was really fitting. This is Ephesians chapter 4. And so Paul is encouraging the church in Ephesus. He says, walk in a manner worthy of the calling which you have been called, with all humility and gentleness and patience, bearing with one another in love. And I love that thought of bearing with one another in love. And I thought, man, that's what we do in a community is we come alongside each other in love. To not be alone, to not do life alone. Like there's something about lifting someone up together, being with other people that makes life a little bit more manageable sometimes. But then the next question becomes, I don't even know how to do that maybe, right? It's like, yeah, sure, community, that's a nice buzzword. What does that mean in my life? What does that mean for me? And I would love to not just have this conversation alone, so I've asked a couple people to come up on stage and have it with me. Would you welcome Lindsay Lawson and Gary Childers? You guys come on up here. You can give them a warm welcome. Hello.
Hello. Good morning, guys.
Why don't you guys just take just a second and introduce yourself for the benefit of those who may not know you.
Sure. I'm Lindsay Lawson, like he said, and my pleasure and the great part of my job is I get to help make connections for people, help them make connections inside our church, and then help them connect out into our community, too.
That's great.
My name is Gary, and I serve at the Bristol campus, and I'm excited because I got this little button turned on the mic, and I didn't trip on the stairs.
Hey,
so it's going to be
two
a
for
good
two.
day. I do care at the Bristol campus. I work on circles and help people get connected, and then also I serve out in the community.
Yeah. Man, these guys are incredible people. I'm blessed to know them. And when the teaching team was talking about what we could do to encourage people in community and how we can facilitate that, I said, let's do this in a conversation and pull Gary and Lindsay up on stage because they really do live this week in and week out. And I want you all to hear from their heart. Before we kind of dive into a conversation, though, I want to kind of set some kind of foundational things to think about. And as we were talking about this, we were sitting at Bloom drinking some coffee. I do like drinking coffee. I don't know. Does anybody else love to drink coffee? Yeah, look at you. I see your green cups over here. Yeah. I don't know what color your cups are at your campus, but praise the Lord for his holy beans. And I'm sorry, I had too much coffee, apparently. So here's this kind of thing that we kind of laid down at the ground level was this question, is in a world full of information, where are you invested? We live in an incredible time to be alive. I love the internet, right? It's an incredible thing. I can ask my watch questions, and sometimes it answers me. And there's so much information around us. It's not hard to find out something, right? Like, could you imagine I guess some of you can't. I can't imagine like being like, I wonder what the capital of whatever is. Like, I got to go somewhere and find that. Like, I just ask Siri. But in this world full of information, like, where are we invested? And who are we invested in? It's easy to brush over that, right? It's easy to kind of be internally focused and feel like, man, I know stuff. I got info. But really, we want to talk about where you're investing your life, investing your time, investing your passions. And one way we think that is great for you to do that is with a circle. So if you're sitting here and you're like, I do know what a circle is, round, no corners. Yeah. So what do we mean when we say circle? What are we talking about?
You know, what we're talking about is a group of people who are living life together to live closer to Jesus. So he really did this in an example for us. So he did that with the disciples, right? I'm going to tell a joke. I didn't do this first service.
Oh,
That's okay.
Let's go.
All right. I heard this on Saturday Night Live, so I can't take credit. But basically, what he said was, a lot of my dad's friends weren't really my dad's friends, but they were my mom's husbands, my mom's friends' husbands. Make sense?
Yeah. Friend by proxy.
Yeah. So really, one of the awesome things in the Bible is Jesus created his own group of friends. They fished together. They did all the things together. They ate together. They lived life together, right? So that's one of the exciting things is he did that on his own. And so that's what we're talking about. He does this in Luke 6 when we look at it. So it says that Jesus went up to the mountain to pray. He spent time with the Father. He came down. He invested inside of a group, the disciples, and then together they took that love out into the community. So what we're saying is, hey, who are those people that you are living in that rhythm of life with? And it's not a one-time, hey, we did a Bible study, we hung out at a birthday party, and then we served during Love Week. It's a continuation. It's not a check mark.
That's good. Gary?
Yeah, circles, what is a circle? A circle is a gathering of people. It's people in your life, people that are currently in your life. Now, maybe you know them, or maybe in the beginning you didn't know them. But it's people that you gather together and you do life with. It's not just having a Bible study once a week. It's doing life together. And just like Lindsay said, we model this after Jesus. Jesus had his circles, his disciples. He hung out with them. He spent time with them, right? He ate with them. So he fellowshiped with them. They studied. They listened to him. He taught them. And then they would go out in the community and they would serve and they would take care of other people. So what we're asking is biblical. What we're asking is to do what Jesus did.
That's good. You know, when you think about circles, we think about maybe the first thing that comes to your mind is like, they're asking me to do another thing. Have you seen my schedule? You know, I got this, I got that, I got work, I got a boss, I got to-do lists, I got to-do lists for my to-do lists. I'm behind on my to-do list. You know, it's like it's a lot of stuff, right? And really, we're not asking you to do another thing. We're really encouraging you to maybe embrace what you're doing with some intentionality. Lindsay, why don't you share about that?
Sure. You know, it's not in addition to your week. It's doing life with people who are already doing life naturally around you. So let's talk about your schedule. So if you look at your schedule, it may provide for you exactly where those people are. So I know lots of us are sitting at swim practice, dance practice, soccer practice. Maybe you're at the gym the same time every day. You're seeing people that you're already having community with. Maybe you're going to lunch with the same Taco Tuesday group, right?
Praise the Lord.
Inside of that, you already in your schedule maybe have those people. So with some intentionality to push together and live life towards Jesus a little bit better, you might already have a circle built right into your schedule.
Yeah, that's good. Gary?
So what is the most valuable thing that you and I have? A lot of things we could say, but I'm saying that the most valuable thing that you and I have is time. As we grow older and as we go through different seasons of our life, time is the most important thing that you and I have. And here's the key. You and I each have the same amount of time in every day. You and I each have 24 hours. It's how you and I choose to use that 24 hours, right? So just like we said, we're not asking you to add anything to your life, but just blend it inside your life. Now, something's going to happen in your life. You're not always going to be on the high mountains. You're going to have some seasons where you're going to run into tough times and troubled times. And you've got to have people in your life. You've got to have family, close friends to be able to encourage you, to be able to care for you, to be able to pray for you. Somebody that you can go to, somebody that will speak truth, somebody that will speak life into your life.
That's a thing that we're never prepared for, right? Like, you can prepare for a lot of things, but there's just some stuff in life that you just can't be ready for when it comes. But we know, right? And the Bible tells us this, that in this world you will have trouble. We like to skip over that sometimes, right? It's like Jeremiah 29:11, for I know the plans I have for you. And you're like, that's quotable. Well, you should read the next verse because they're getting ready to go into exile. But God's saying, I'm not going to leave you or forsake you. So, like, it sounds cute on a cup, but like there's some depth in there too, right? That they're about to walk through difficulty. They're about to be taken into captivity, but God's not going to leave them. And so much, man, that's so true in our own lives, that there are times that we just feel like, I didn't see this coming.
Yeah, like we all have those times, right? It's going to happen to all of us. And so I'm just reminded, we always want to go back to what Jesus did, but early in the Bible, in the Gospels, right? So I think it's Matthew, Mark, and Luke. They all talk about the same instance, and it's about the man who was carried to Jesus on a mat, right? So there were 4 friends, and they carried their friend who was paralyzed on a mat to Jesus. So I just want you to think about the time period, right? They didn't load him up in the car and put him in a nice wheelchair and wheel him in somewhere. That's not what happened. They carried him physically to this house where Jesus was, and they got there, and it was super packed. But they did not give up because they loved him, and they knew they needed to get him to Jesus. And so they go up onto the roof, and they dig through. They're relentless. They lower him down and to see Jesus. They knew that's what they needed to do. Who are your friends who are going to do that for you? That is what's so important, to have already invested in and built inside of a circle of people, because those times are going to happen. And I'll tell a personal story, but for Brian and I, it was a super hard time. I was working here at the church. I was serving in ministry. Brian was too. We were doing all the things and trying to live our life just like Jesus had. And we lost a baby. And it was a super tough time. And what I knew was that my heart needed and Brian's heart needed was to be able to get to Jesus. But guys, just being honest, I couldn't get there. I couldn't pray. I couldn't even hear what other people were saying, but they knew that about me. Our circle did. So they came to our house, and the girls got in the bed with me, and they prayed over me, and they brought food, and they took us, and they carried us on our mat to Jesus in a very different way. So you don't know when that time is coming for you, but nobody wants to lose a baby or a parent. Nobody wants to get cancer. Nobody wants to have to file for bankruptcy. There's so many things I can think about, but life is going to happen. Jesus said, though, that we wouldn't have to do it alone, and that's what these circles are created for. And who are your people that are going to carry you on your mat?
I want to say something so genuine to you, and I hope you take it the way I'm giving it. I want you to have joy. I want you to have a life full of joy, and I want you to live life so full. And I believe that to get that, you've got to have a circle. You've got to have people that will love on you. Now, I think all of us want to get closer to God. I think all of us want to learn more about God and serve God and become more like Christ and become more like Him. Being in a circle, that's going to help you. That's going to provide you to be able to do that. Now, I get it. Our church is so big. We've got so many campuses, and this room is so big, and your room is so big where you are. So it's hard to get close to people. It's hard to get to know somebody's name. It's hard to know things about them. That's what your circle will do. When you're in a circle, you're going to know things about people, and they're going to know things about you. That is going to be the true joy in living life in full, when you have that connection to people, that community. That's what we mean when we say community.
Yeah, that's good. Hebrews 3:13, here's what it says. It says, but encourage one another daily, as long as it is called today, so that none of you may be hardened by sin's deceitfulness. Lindsay shared that verse with us as we were kind of planning this conversation, and it just kind of keeps sticking with me, this idea of as long as it's called today. And I don't know about you, maybe today, like maybe this morning was difficult. It was time change weekend. I noticed there's more people here than there were at the first service, you know. Maybe you slept in, it was hard to get up, right? I don't know. Maybe tomorrow is gonna be Monday and it's just gonna be a struggle and there's gonna be traffic and there's gonna be a thing and there's deadlines and it's easy to get stuck in today, right? It's like, oh, today. But this verse is such a good reminder that, hey, as long as it's today, we can encourage one another. We can bear one another's burdens. Like, don't miss today waiting for that next opportunity to encourage someone, waiting for the next, I'll get them tomorrow. I'll get them tomorrow. Like, maybe, but we're not promised that. All we have is today.
No, it's what you talked about before. You talked about being informed versus being invested, right? So informed is I'm on Facebook, I read all these things, I have tons of knowledge, and I throw up prayer hands, right? It's more than that. It is when you have a circle of people, they're caring for you in a way that you've built relationship that you know when things are not right with them, and you can show up at their house in your pajamas, right? And they can show up at your house, and they can tell you what's going on. You build a relationship where you see each other's blind spots too, and you see each other's weakness, and you may see that, hey, she's going back down that path, right? Like, and for me, I get a little bossy, right? I get a little authoritative. I want it the right way, and they know that about me. My circle does, and they can say, hey, you might need to back off a little bit. Like that's starting to rise in you, and so you need those people that you are building into in that way. And it says, as long as today is today. Man, that really nailed me, right? Like, you need to be aware of the people in your life and who you're doing life around, because you can tell when they're off. You can tell when maybe they just need that one text that might spur them on in a different way.
That's good. Gary?
You know, I believe God puts people in our lives. You know, it's not an accident that you met somebody this morning, or it's not an accident that you met somebody at church or at the grocery store, at the gas station, somebody that you can invite into your circle, right? I don't believe in accidents or luck or just coincidence. I believe God puts people in our lives that He wants us to reach out to, love on, and put their arm around people sometimes.
That's great. I love that idea. There is no accidents. There's no happenstance. Man, God is leading us and guiding us. And, well, you know, let's transition just a little bit into some real life stories, right, of some people that we know at this church that you guys interact with on a regular basis, who are you know, serving in these circles, and they're living out the love of Jesus. Share just some real examples of what that looks like in their life.
Sure. Let me start by saying, when we talk about the out movement, right, and taking that love of Jesus out, lots of times when we think about it, we think about a big project, like a Love Week project, or painting picnic tables, like a project. But remember all those one another's in the Bible, right? And going out, maybe just investing in somebody that maybe is a widow in your neighborhood. Who are the people just around you? So I'll talk about a story like that. So we have a group here, a circle here, and one of the girls came to me and she said, hey, we're really praying about where we need to be. Like, what does their heart break for? And she said, there's another lady that we know whose husband is going to be deployed for a year, and that she has a small child and she's pregnant. And she said, would that be a place? Man, is that a place? So we connected them together, and they're going to be able to push into that family while he's gone for a year to just help with things that she may need, like take care of the lawn, change light bulbs, change smoke detector batteries, take food over, and just embrace them. And the awesome thing about that is when he comes home, he'll engage in that circle. And so that's just one another way to do it too.
At the Bristol campus, this is just an example, we've got a circle that has adopted a apartment complex. It's a high-rise complex in Bristol, downtown Bristol, and there's people that move in and out all the time. So that circle has adopted this apartment complex on their own. They restock their their food pantry for canned goods and non-perishables. They also provide cleaning supplies to residents in this apartment complex. Another circle has partnered with People Incorporated to see how we can help the homeless population in Bristol. Another circle, we have a fire station that's real close to our campus. There's 3 shifts on that fire station. So one circle has adopted this fire station, and they go and they provide meals, home-cooked meals to each shift at this fire station on their own, and they do that every quarter. So I'm sure I know here at the Abingdon campus and your campus there are projects, there are things going on in the community that your circle could own, that your circle could partner with, and that can be your way to be able to serve God and to be able to serve people in the community.
As you all were sharing, it made me think about, there's a story in the Bible where the disciples come to Jesus and they say, hey, somebody should feed these people. And Jesus says, you should feed those people, right? Like, how many times in your life you walk by is like, somebody should help that person. Somebody should do something about that, And it's like, just say it, just imagine there's a mirror in front of you and then you point at yourself and say, I could do something about that. But here's the beautiful thing about circles is that you don't have to do it alone. So let's say my heart breaks for a certain thing, like homeless in the area. Well, I can't do that by myself. But a group of people together and then a few circles together, man, we can really make an impact in that. Or like your example, Lindsay, so good is like, hey, we're going to adopt this family, right? We're going to bring them in. We're going to care for them. We're going to step in before they need help because they're going to need help. And like, I just love that. We are better together, right? That's why the series is called Better Together, because that's what we're trying to say. It really is that Jesus has called us to a life in community with other people. Like, that's how we sort of do this life together. Jesus models this for us. He commands his disciples to do that. After he, leaves this earth, he doesn't say, hey, just like hang out and stuff. See ya. I'll be back, BRB. He's like, hey, take this message to your area, to Jerusalem, Judea, Samaria, to the ends of the earth. They don't even know how big the earth is at this point, right? They're just like, I don't know how big that is. But we should just go. And so as you're going, as you're doing that, you're taking that message with you. It's so, so important. Maybe you're here today and you're like, okay, I like this. It sounds good. I would like to be in community with other people. So how can we help people in a functional way respond to this today and take those steps?
Yeah, let me say this, and then I'll go to those steps. But I just was thinking about this as we moved into this service this morning, but I just felt the need to say to you guys, hey, I think some of you may be thinking, hey, they're describing friends. I have some friends. I have some friends that I hang out with. I have some friends that I do things with, but I'm talking about something deeper than that. Do you have friends who are laying before Jesus for you, that are praying for your kids, that are praying for your job, that are praying for your marriage, that you can invest in that way? If you don't have those kind of friends, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about doing a life together where you let those people into those spaces so they can help you experience life with Jesus a little bit better. If you don't have those kind of friends, that's what we're talking about. And so one way you can do that is to let us know, right? So on your About You card, you can make a check and say that you're interested in becoming part of a circle, that you would like more information about that. Hey, we also, if you're thinking, I do have those friends that I do Taco Tuesday with or whatever, that I could gather up. I think I could host. You can mark that and put, I'm interested in hosting. And then another way that we can help you guys is we know some of you have made that step to host circles that we don't know about. We want to appreciate you and give you information that we have and help you guys out. So if that's you, will you just mark that and say, hey, I am hosting. And we're so thankful for each of you that are doing that.
Yeah, Carrie?
I think we got to get over this thing right here. The number one obstacle I get is I don't have time to be in a circle, right? That's what we get. We've already talked about that. The second one is I can't be a host. I can't have a group. I can't have a circle at my home because what? My house is always dirty. It's always messy, and I don't want people coming into my home and seeing my mess and my dust and my dirty dishes and things like that. Don't let that be an obstacle. We've got so many groups in Bristol that are meeting at restaurants, coffee shops, fast food, parks, just anywhere where they can meet. Okay? Couple of other things. Don't think that you're married to a group, right? You get place, you get into a circle and you give it 2 or 3 weeks and all of a sudden it's awkward and you really don't connect with them, you're not married to them. We can get you connected to another group. So don't let that be an obstacle. Last thing, James, I got for you.
You're good.
Is if you're in a circle and all you're doing is having Bible study, we want more for you, okay? We want more for you. So yes, Bible study, being in God's Word, that is wonderful, and I want you to do that. But I want you also to have fellowship. I want you to get together with the kids, all the stuff, just having hamburgers and hot dogs, hang out, do whatever you want, but let it be something fun. That's the only thing you do that time is do something fun. And then the last thing, we've already talked about it today, do something in the community. Once a quarter, get out in the community, do something for other people. You know, you get such a blessing to be able to serve other people. So I want joy in your life. I want you to have a full life, and I want you to experience that with circles.
That's so good. So again, if you'd like to be involved, let us know. If you would like to host a circle, let us know. And if you are doing that already, you're like, oh, this thing you're talking about, like we do this. Please let us know. Lindsay or Gary or someone from your campus will contact you this week. Can we say that? Can we just tell people? We will contact you this week if you fill that out and get in touch with you. We have resources we can give you. We can help you do that. You're not alone even in leading that. We want to come alongside you and help you facilitate that. But man, we are passionate about people taking those steps and owning that. Man, Lindsay, Gary, thank you all so much. Can we just give them a hand? I want to do something a little bit different as we kind of close, and I want to go back to this verse that I was reading in Ephesians chapter 4 and read the next couple verses. So we talked about bearing one another's burdens in love, eager to maintain that spirit. And so what is this spirit? Here's what Paul says. There's one body and one spirit, just as you were called to the one hope that belongs to you. There's one Lord, one faith, one baptism, one God, and one Father of all, who is over all and through all and in all. And this verse 7, don't miss this. But grace was given to each of one of us according to the measure of Christ's gift for us. And I love that line. Grace was given to us and according to Christ's gift for us. You know, we're talking about community this weekend and the need to be invested in that. And we believe it can make your life better. And we do. Like, life is better together. And here's the beautiful thing is that we have a model of that in the person of Jesus, who would step out of heaven and perfection into our mess for us, live among us, walk among his disciples, perform the greatest miracle of all, having friends in his 30s. It's amazing, right? He lives life with people. He loves people. Jesus cries over people. Lazarus dies and Jesus weeps. Even knowing that he's going to resurrect him, he weeps with him. Why would he do that? Why would he share in those struggles with his disciples so that they could know that they are not alone? And then in the ultimate act of surrender, of a servant kind of love, he gives his life for us. The Bible says, while we were still sinners, Christ died for us. And that's important because it means that you didn't have to do anything for God to love you. You don't have to clean yourself up to come to God. You don't have to say, God, I got to do some stuff, so I'll see you next week. No, he wants us to come just like a child into his arms. And so for some people today, your step may be, hey, I need to invest in some people around me. I know that I'm at that place. And some of you are like, man, I need some people around me. Like, I have a relationship with Jesus, but I need some people. And if that's you, man, please come just add to your About You card and say, I want to be in a circle. We will help find those people around you. You don't have to do that alone. We want to help you do that. But I just have this weight that I feel like there are people here today at one of our campuses. Maybe you're watching online right now, and you're like, man, I don't have that hope. I don't have that gift in my life. And there is this just kind of void. And at the end of the day, I feel the weight of that emptiness. And the good news is that gift that Paul's talking about there, Christ's gift, is for you, and it's for me. And you don't have to earn it. We don't deserve that, but God freely would give that to us. It's an incredible transaction that God would take your sin and give us his righteousness. It's like the best trade ever, right? And all we have to do is really just stop. Stop trying, stop striving, stop trying to do it yourself. Sometimes that's the hardest thing, right? It's just to open your hands and just receive that. But man, I feel a weight this morning that there are just some people who need that in their life. They need that relationship with Jesus. And I would love to just take a few minutes and just pray with you and pray over you. So if you just bow your head at all of our locations. And if you're in that place today and you're like, James, I need community, but I need relationship with Jesus. I know that I need that. You could pray something like this. You could pray along with me and just say, God, I know that I'm not perfect. I know that I have sinned, that I have done wrong, that I'm not God. I don't meet your standard. God, I'm not perfect, but you are. I recognize the love that you have for me, that you would send your son to die on the cross, and I want to receive that this morning. I want to step into a relationship with you. I trust that you love me. I trust that you would give yourself for me, and I want to confess that I am a sinner and that I need a great Savior. God, would you save me this morning? Restore me to relationship with you. God, I want a new life. If you prayed that this morning, man, we just want to say congratulations on an incredible decision that will affect everything else from here on out, because God is faithful as he calls. And so if that was you, if you prayed that prayer, if you prayed something like that, would you let us know? Mark it on your card that you accepted Christ. Come and find a campus pastor or someone on our care team and tell them, hey, I just made this decision. Can I talk about this with you? We would love to know that. And for everybody in the room, I would love to just kind of pray a prayer of peace over you. We're going to sing and respond here in just a minute and continue this moment. But I just want to pray over you this morning. God, we come to you today and we are grateful for what you've done for us, for the faith and the spirit and the life that you give us in you, the hope that we can find in you. I'm grateful for these people who call Highlands home, for the home that you've made for me and my family, for the home that you've made for thousands of people, to experience love, to experience life with one another as we bear each other's burdens, as we care for one another. And so I pray for all the people that can hear my voice today, that you would just remind them this week that they don't have to do life alone, that you would put people in their way, in their path, in their view, that they could reach out to, that they could love, so we could see your kingdom come and your will be done on earth as it is in heaven, that we could be about bringing about some good into this world, not good of our own, not of our own striving, but God, that we could just walk in you. God, give us a stride of grace, that you would set the pace for our lives, that we could walk and continue to walk in you and trusting you. We're grateful for all that you're doing around us. Help us not to take that for granted, of the gifts that you give us, the place that you give us. And help us walk in community, trusting you, because we're better together. We love you so much. We thank you for this time. Amen.